Otrigla moj dom, kako si krasan, kako me izbavljaš iz niskih rana. Po letni vročini na skalne vrhe, da tam si spočinil samotni srce.
The French government is so terrified of the Yellow Vest movement, they're debating new laws that would criminalise all unauthorised protests, meaning you would need government permission to protest the government, otherwise known as dictatorship or martial law. Protest leaders are now being handcuffed and abducted in the night, like something out of Stasi East Germany. Yellow Vest organiser Eric Drouet was arrested and faces trial for, quote, organising an undeclared demonstration while meeting with friends at a restaurant. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, 2011. Paris, 2019. When your city looks like a screenshot from an apocalyptic video game every weekend, something's gone drastically wrong. On Saturday, Caen looked more like a battlefield than a city. The Virgin AntiFa rioter versus the Chad French rioter. Hides behind a mask, poses no real threat to authority, just breaks shit with no purpose. Sports a sexy yellow vest, caused actual change, breaks shit because he's fed up with taxes. Now, you know I don't advocate violence. And this guy claims he was angry because his wife got tear gassed. But when Christoph Dettinger, despite being targeted by the media and authorities, doxed and having his home raided, becomes an overnight icon, you know whose side the public are on. I don't want to see Paris torn up, but when Antifa attacks banks, the left cheers. When yellow vests do the same, it's a dark harbinger of a fascist takeover. But President Macron is a globalist authoritarian, and the only way authoritarians know how to react to disobedience is with violence. But the underpaid and overworked French police will eventually join their fellow countrymen, and the king will have no clothes. As Tom Luongo writes, the Yellow Vest movement is coffin nails for the EU because it illustrates how the EU is a scam and all of its policies were designed to do exactly what it's done: impoverish the working classes, enrich the aristocracy, and enforce it through a Byzantine bureaucracy that makes the world of Terry Gilliam's Brazil look like a Toyota factory floor. Now Yellow Vest activists are tearing down EU flags. When he was elected, Macron was hailed as the saviour of globalism. Little over a year later, and his approval rating is at 23%, while his citizens are using forklift trucks to smash into the Ministry of Finance and Economy building. Meanwhile, the establishment has set in motion a character assassination of the small but growing Yellow Vest movement in the UK. Ramona MP Anna Soubry was called, oh my god, she was called a Nazi! Soubry is a Nazi! Right. Prompting a contrived, hysterical media narrative that new laws need to be passed to prevent the abuse of politicians. Because Anna Soubry would never smear ordinary working class people as Nazis or fascists, would she?
These are fascists, 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 fascists.
Owen Jones is the voice of the working class. These gentlemen were just the wrong kind of working class. Yeah, where was the outrage when Jacob Rees-Mogg's children were being abused by vile left-wing thugs?
Your daddy's a totally horrible person.
How about Nigel Farage's family being repeatedly attacked and abused?
So there is a real double standard here, that those of us that have taken on the establishment have to endure the abuse. Those within the establishment get a taste of it, and suddenly they want the law changed.
The left has been pulling stunts like that for years. But as soon as one establishment MP gets a bit of lip, you all freak out and wet the bed. Give me a break. A right-wing AfD politician in Germany is beaten almost to death by left-wing terrorists, and it barely makes the news. While every screaming top headline for 2 days was about someone being mean to Anna Soubry, and it was all part of a coordinated scheme to digitally assassinate one of the leaders of the UK Yellow Vest movement. Social media accounts banned, PayPal accounts deleted, doxing, journalists harassing their elderly parents, thousands of jihadists roaming our streets every day, people being stabbed to death every single day. Gotta get those dangerous 13-year-old girls off the streets though. Then there's this bizarre footage out of Holland which shows a woman wearing a yellow vest being dragged away from a baby stroller by police. The incident was apparently some kind of police training or social experiment, but it's disturbing nonetheless. Basically, the yellow vest is the new anonymous mask. It's a unifying emblem for anti-establishment fervour across Europe. And it seems the only thing more provocative than yellow vests is German women who wear their hair in braids.
Wir sind jetzt hier auf dem Bahnhof Chemnitz und wurden wirklich von der Polizei angehalten und ich wurde wirklich gefragt, was ich für eine politische Meinung habe, ob ich denn nicht eine rechte Meinung vertrete, weil ich Zöpfe habe.
There's also speculation raging, which is unconfirmed at this point, that governments are already conspiring with mainstream media networks to release pre-written stories if tensions escalate that will do everything possible to minimize the chance of events being seen as a European spring. We've already seen mainstream TV channels in France photoshopping and censoring anti-Macron protest signs. The yellow vest movement utterly terrifies the elite because it unites aspects of both the left and the right. As French philosopher Alain de Benoist points out, the yellow vest movement is historic because it unites people with shared grievances from both sides of the political spectrum. Let's get one thing clear. The reason the establishment hates the yellow vest movement is because the establishment hates the working class. The reason why left-wing mouthpieces like Owen Jones and lovey celebrities hate the yellow vest movement is because they hate the working class.
The working class are not capable of making important decisions. That's why they are the working class, instead of leaders and professionals.
You spent decades disingenuously pandering to the working class while feeling entitled to their vote, while offering them nothing but political and economic betrayal in return. Standards of living sunk, wage growth stagnated, fuel prices skyrocketed, and communities were destroyed, thanks to your myopic insistence on importing millions of migrant wage slaves. Now the working class have finally got wise to it and withdrawn their support, prompting your thinly veiled disgust, elitism and snobbery to be fully revealed in all its fetid repulsiveness. I don't know where the yellow vest movement is going, but you can bet for a fact that the establishment's response is going to become more and more brutal, proving once again that globalism can only be pursued at the expense of the freedoms, prosperity, and dignity of ordinary working class people. Please click the big red button to subscribe. It really helps me when you do that, and click the bell to allow notifications so you never miss a new video.